These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are recording on, what day is it? Friday, May 24th. I'm in the car. I'm with everybody. I'm with Noah, Justin, Bobby's driving. Recording from the car on the way to Indy. As soon as we start recording, I do get the Wi-Fi symbol in the top left, so we'll hold strong.
How it goes. You don't know about the struggle, Jack. You have no idea how many times I've sat down, chatted with Jack for 5-10 minutes before we get started. 30 seconds in, everybody's freezing. It's a disaster. It sucks.
It's tough. It's a tough one, but we're going to do player grades again. One, because it did pretty well last time we did it for game one, and two, because we don't really have another video. So we're going to rock with player grades, and hopefully you guys enjoy them the second time around.
This might be what you're getting here in the playoffs on the off days.
I think they're good. I think they spark conversation. I think it's a good topic. But Celtics Pacers game 2. Celtics earned the 126-110 win over Indiana. Slow first quarter for the Celtics. Bounce back, win the rest of the way pretty handedly, thanks to Jaylen Brown. We'll start from the bottom. We can skip the garbage time players, so we can skip Mikhailo and Tillman. They can both get a C. Cool, I guess. I don't have anything.
Speed got a bucket, C plus.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'm down. Next few minutes was Luke Cornett, who, sprained his wrist. Apparently, he had something on his wrist today, like a brace.
Oh no.
In one of the photos posted to the Celtics Twitter. I think Justin told me that, so I'll go with Justin. He wasn't great in this game. It felt like they were better once they were kind of forced to bring in Brissett. It didn't feel like he did enough to earn anything lower than like a C-, which is just kind of like average and a little below average. But I'm freezing, so you probably didn't even hear my grade for Luke.
Nope, you were good.
Did you hear my grade for Luke, or did I cut out? Oh, cool, awesome.
But
yeah, I feel like C- is probably pretty on par. Yeah.
Yeah, I think C- is fair. It's just about as far below average you can go with under 5 minutes played and meaningful minutes. There are people on Twitter getting excited about him getting hurt. So take that for what it's worth of what you think of his performance for game 2. I'm not happy he got hurt, but I am happy that it made Joe Mazzulla turn elsewhere and actually play another person at the center spot. We did talk in C's the other day, and I think somebody in the chat was like, who's your guy's X factor? Oh, it was an email on the pod. That's what it was. Like, who's going to be like the swing guy? I'm like, well, whoever plays center next. And that's what it turned out to be with O'Shea Brissett in game 2. He came in, played 12 minutes, made his only shot, which was a super cool dunk, 3 steals, 3 rebounds. And he was tied for team high plus 18 in this one. And we finally got the O'Shea Brissett game. It's really strange that a performance like this will probably get him a high grade on the scale. But he's somebody that didn't play at all throughout this run. He really didn't get an opportunity. Joe Mazzulla has stuck to his guys. Joe Mazzulla is somebody that doesn't necessarily like to play the other guys. He has his rotation that he trusts. He has players who he has stuck with all season. And now O'Shea Brissett gets in the game and actually makes an impact. It's tough to imagine he won't play in game 3. So I would say O'Shea is probably A-. I really don't know what more he could have done with the role he was playing in the short minutes he played. He only played 12 minutes, but it felt like it was a huge swing anytime he was in the game. He allowed for the Celtics to actually switch up their defense, not have to play drop coverage on pick and rolls, which is huge. They've been really poor guarding the pick and roll all spring. And he gave them an ability to be flexible, so you have to respect it. It's huge. Big boy stuff from O'Shea Brissett for a A-, B+ grade. That's what I would give him. A-, B+ for O'Shea.
Did you filibuster that whole time?
I did.
Respect. I appreciate that. Yeah, O'Shea, I feel like B+ is fair. A-, even like you mentioned, it's tough to give him like anything higher than that because of just the few minutes he played, but he was so impactful in those minutes that it makes a bunch of sense to put him up there. I thought the rebounding was good. I don't think like for as plus minutes as he was. I don't know if he individually was super spectacular, but just the look of having a small ball center lineup, I think was sort of the revelation. Probably pretty good for me. When I tried to open other tabs to look at stats, I froze out. So if you would like to lead the stats, that would be phenomenal because I clearly cannot.
I've got
handle that
the box score right up in front of my face. You just stay in the stream.
Who's next? Hit
my
me.
friend. Who's next? How? Oh no! Technically, it's Pritchard with 19 minutes. He was 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from deep for 12
He
points.
played fewer
also
than
had
Hauser?
2 assists, 2 rebounds. Yeah, Hauser was at 22.5, and Pritchard was just under 19. So he got some serious run in this game. He put the ball in the basket. He made shots in spots where they needed him to make shots. The first quarter wasn't pretty for the Celtics. I did the whole article on Celtics blog yesterday after the game. And my take was like, holy shit, they stayed in this game despite Indiana shooting 58% from the field in the first quarter. And the reason they were able to do that was hustle stuff, which we'll get to, but also Pritchard made timely shots. He made a 3, he made a 2, he had 5 points, and the Pacers were looking to pull away. He's done this the entire playoffs. He had the brass ball shot in game 3 against Cleveland from the logo to kind of silence a run that Cleveland was on. He had a stretch in game 4 of that series where he did something very similar. And now you saw in a game 2 that was important, obviously. You almost lost game 1. Indiana had to have some confidence early seeing the ball go in the basket every time. He was able to put it in, score, make them at a timely spot. Yet he probably wasn't in the A range. He was probably B plus, because there's still this weird defensive issue where he's getting targeted. TJ McConnell's able to get a few buckets on him, and he certainly hasn't been as impactful as he has in the previous series. Like, watching the game, I didn't really feel his impact too much.
Yeah, I almost included Pritchard in my guards article, but just ended up being Jrue and Derrick. But it did feel like having guards who can hit shots. And I know Pritchard's been on the team for a few years, but it feels like he was really coming to his own this year with the larger role and being back in the rotation.
Yep.
Having him just sort of go through these spurts of huge runs of scoring is great for the Celtics offense. And more importantly, like, this Celtics team is so comfortable just giving Pritchard the ball and saying, okay, go do something. Like, go score. Go get it. Like, Tatum or Brown or both will be on the floor, and they'll just be like, yeah, it's Pritchard time. Here you go. Go score a bucket. And that's it's nice to have players like that. So I'd probably go like a nice B, settle right in the middle there. It didn't feel like he was like extended impactful, so I don't want to give him like A+ or up there, but I think right in the middle of the B, it sounds pretty good. He did get a little bit sauced by Mr. McConnell on the other end, so I think we'll stick right in the middle there. Above average, but nothing too crazy.
Up next, Hauser. I'll let you roll on Hauser.
F.
That way we're kind of playing tennis here in the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a clean D for Mr. Sammy. Unfortunately, I thought he some nice assists, got some boards, almost got his arm ripped off by Isaiah Jackson, so it's tough. But man, just can't make shots. He can't. He stood up on defense for a couple possessions, then he got cooked on defense at times as well. He just can't find the range, man. It's tough because you want him to be able to be in the rotation, because when he's on, he's a fine defender and he's a elite 3-point shooter, but when he's off, it's like you almost have to pull him, keep him on a short leash, unfortunately. So I think a D is probably where I land.
Yeah, I probably am right in that same range. It's tough because he had a couple steals, played decent defense in this game. It wasn't the same story as game 1 where he was just getting cooked, couldn't be out there. Cavs series wasn't able to be out there very much. They kept targeting him. And I think the short minutes have really impacted him. He's not able to get into a rhythm. I mean, they did not ask Hauser to take difficult shots yesterday. He was open. He was catch and shoot in the corner, wide open type of thing. That's exactly what he should be doing out there. We talked about it on the recap that went up Friday morning.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch all the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. One of our favorite picks here at the How About Them Celtics podcast is the Jrue Holiday blocks. It's usually 0.5. He just needs more than 0.5 blocks. That means 1 Jrue Holiday block. And that pick is in the bag. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
He's just not doing his job. He's trying to find ways to impact the game in other ways, which is very respectable, and it's what you want guys to do when they're not playing well. But you got to make the threes. That's why they have you out there. And I guess it should be a testament to how well he played, aside from that he played more minutes than anybody else that came off the bench. But still, you have to bury these shots because...
How many of those minutes were garbage time? Because Pritchard, I don't think, did play garbage time, did he? Or did he?
Remember.
I feel like that could be inflated. But I do think it's fair to say, like, he does other things well. It's just, you really want him to do his job, like you said.
Yeah, let's see. I'm pulling up his rebounds. So let's see how many of those came at the end of the game. Just to see if he actually did play our garbage time or not. If it even loads. Fighting for its life.
He's trying his best.
2 in the fourth quarter. He played like at the beginning of the fourth, and so did Pritchard.
Okay.
I mean, Hauser was going to be until the end, but he still played a lot of minutes. Like, he only could have played 12 total minutes in the fourth quarter, and whether or not he did, some of those minutes were still meaningful. Like, the starters were in until there was like 3 minutes left.
Yeah, just a rough one. He's been slumping, man. When he slumps, he slumps. We were talking about that earlier in the car. It's like, if he's on, he's on. If he's off, he is way off.
He's so off. Just have it up in front of me what his total playoff run stats are, but they certainly haven't been anywhere near the standard he set for himself in the regular season, and that's something that I don't know if it should alarm you as a Celtics fan, but you shouldn't be thrilled about it. You shouldn't be like, oh yeah, this guy who has been a elite 3-point shooter all season all of a sudden forgot how to do it in the playoffs. It's not ideal, but the team doesn't seem to be struggling from it. So that is A-okay with me. Next up is Al Horford. Horford had this game where after playing 40 minutes in game 1, he only had to play just under 25. And it's exactly the type of workload you would have liked to seen from Horford in a game like this, especially after he had to do everything in game 1, took 15 shots. They made him try and be a part of the offense, even though he hasn't been doing that this year. And they made him shoot a volume of threes. In this game, he finishes 3 of 6, 0 of 1 from 3 for 6 points. He also hit the glass pretty hard, 4 offensive rebounds, 6 defensive for 10 total, and he had a pair of steals. I thought this was, I don't want to say the perfect Horford game, because the perfect Horford game was game 5 against Cleveland, but this is a fantastic, realistic Al Horford game. 50% from the field, doesn't have to be out there more than he's comfortable being out there. He doesn't look exhausted. I didn't feel like Horford got cooked on defense in this game either. There were a few plays where he did a tremendous job of staying in front of Halliburton, and that's something that you needed to see from him because Indiana has been trying to target him. Teams all postseason have been trying to target him, even going back to last spring. You saw Atlanta do it. Miami ran a ton of pick and roll in the conference finals. He needs to be able to guard these ball handlers when he's out there. When Porzingis is healthy, it makes it a lot easier because he doesn't have as much of a workload. So the fact that they kept him under 25 minutes, even if it's by 2 seconds, is huge going into game 3 with only a day in between the 2 games. So I'm going to give Horford a B+ for this game. Sounds silly, but I felt like his hustle plays were really big. He had a big part in getting that run going in the second quarter. The first possession included 2 offensive rebounds from him. And I just thought he did what he was asked to do. He wasn't asked to do too much. I also think that has a little bit to do with Miles Turner getting in foul trouble early. They weren't able to just have, or they didn't really benefit from having Miles Turner sag off of Horford. Whoever was the sub for Turner wasn't as impactful as a shot blocker, so Horford didn't get put in the Grant Williams spot in this game. But overall, I would say B plus.
Yeah, I was going to go with a B. I think that's on par. I think he did what he was asked to do. I think it was nice that he didn't have to play a ton of minutes. It was fun to see him bully ball someone again. He had one of those in this game as well, I believe, if I remember correctly. A nice little just post shot. Got through the chest of, I think it was Siakam. He just kind of went through him, got an easy bucket. It was nice to see. 2 steals were good. I don't think he was awful on defense. I think he still gave up a few too many of those mid-ranges, but that was also a product of the Pacers for just making them. I don't think it was anything like stupendous, but he did his job and he did it well, and I think that's pretty fair for a B. So I'll rock with that. I like that.
I also thought he did a pretty good job on Siakam, despite Siakam being on fire. The contests were there. It wasn't Siakam making shots because he was wide open. It was because he was in the zone. He was in a rhythm. He was able to get to his spots. And sure, you can be like, don't let him get to his spots. And that's fine. But overall, contests were just fine. Up next, Derrick White. Derrick White, tale of two halves in this game. 1 of 7 in the first half, 7 of 8 in the second half, finishes 8 of 15 for 23 points, 4 of 8 from 3, has 6 assists, 4 boards, and a steal and a block. Well-rounded game from him. He is somebody much like Payton Pritchard who always finds a way to show up when they need him to make a shot. In the third quarter, Siakam had it going. Derrick White totals 10 points in the frame. And without him, and also Tatum, who we'll talk about later, stepping up during that stretch, this game could have got out of hand in the second half. It could have been a lot closer than it wound up being. And the fact that you can rely on Derrick White, even if he starts off 1 of 7, to start finding the bottom of the net, his confidence doesn't waver. That's huge. He's somebody we've heard him talk in interviews about not being as confident as when he first came to the league. And his time with the Celtics has been built on confidence. Joe Mazzulla is somebody he's credited time and time again with instilling that in him, telling him he has the green light, telling him they want to see him take shots. And yesterday in game 3 was a prime example of that. So I would give Derrick White with his 23 points A-. Nah, A. He gets an A. I don't really know what else we could have asked for from Derrick White.
Yeah, I was going to say A-. I think the slow start prevents it from being higher, but I'm not going to complain with an A. I think those two are pretty, I mean, they're right next to each other, so it's fine. But I think it was huge in securing the game for the Celtics, sort of pushing them past with their slow start. His shot making, I mean, I wrote about it for Celtics blog, him and Jrue Holiday. Just having that sort of offensive punch in the backcourt is something that the Celtics haven't had in recent years, with all due respect to Marcus Smart. And having a guy capable of creating his own shot, creating for others, and sort of getting them organized is just such a huge advantage, especially when it's Derrick White and Jrue Holiday, who are 2 elite defensive players too. Like, there's no, Isaac Okoro's a great defender, but you're just going to leave him open. There's no, there's this player, he can really shoot, but he can't play defense, so you got to be careful with his minutes. There are like 2 elite offensive players who are
Yeah, I mean, if they're both playing great defense and then they give you what they've been giving you on offense, it is truly valuable. So we can move on to Holiday. Holiday, he had 15 points in this game. He was unbelievable from the field, 4 of 6. No, I'm sorry, that's Pritchard. 6 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, and he had 10 assists with 3 rebounds. Much like Derrick White, he was huge in this game, just at a different part. Holiday played a big role in getting the team going. A lot of his makes came in the first half. I believe he was 2 of 3 in the second half. So he started 4 of 4 in this game, and he helped them stay afloat during that weird Pacers can't miss stretch. And I can't appreciate that enough. Another thing that Jrue Holiday did a great job of was hitting the offensive glass. He and Derrick White both, and I'm sure you wrote about this, set the tone for this game. First possession for the Celtics. Jrue Holiday gets an offensive rebound after Tatum is battling down low on the little tap backs on the glass. Ball comes out. He grabs it, finds Jaylen, who drills a 3 for the first bucket of the game for Boston. And it kind of instills some confidence in Jaylen, too, to get an open look like that in rhythm. And it probably was a building block for the rest of his unbelievable night, which we will talk about. But Holiday's hustle, helping to set the tone right from the jump, was a really important part of this game. His decision-making was excellent. 10 assists to just 1 turnover is a dream game for a guard in the NBA. And I can't get enough of that fast break where he tapped the ball back to Jaylen for an easy layup. I would give Jrue Holiday an A again, back-to-back A games for Jrue Holiday. Hey, gang, let me tell you a little something about Game Time. The NBA playoffs have arrived. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Who doesn't want to get in on the fun? With Game Time, you can experience it with your own eyes. Get yourself great seats to games with even greater prices. That's right. You can save when getting your tickets with Game Time. It's an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting those playoff tickets even faster and easier. Plus, the prices on Game Time usually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. Who doesn't love to save a little bit of money? I certainly do. I used Game Time back in March when I took the lady to a game. We went to see the Celtics play our Pistons, and it was great. I could look and see what the seat view would be just using the app. Didn't have to be surprised when I showed up. Plus, you do get those last-minute deals. They have the flash deals and zone deals. Zone deals, which you can choose a section of the arena and let Game Time choose those seats. You'll save a little bit of money that way. You can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Yeah, Jrue Holiday was great in this game. I mean, second game in a row. Like, not only was he a great offensive initiator from a shot creation and a playmaking standpoint, but like another just ridiculously efficient game for Jrue Holiday, which is exactly what you want from what is effectively a role player. Like I wrote in my article for Celtics blog, he's just like wildly overqualified, him and Derrick White, for the roles they're being asked to play, which is just awesome for the Celtics. Because they only need them to do certain things, which is great because of how great they are. I actually didn't mention the offensive rebounding in my article because I think I was like a shell, just so exhausted last night. Just like we talked about it on the pod, and I just forgot about it. But yeah, he's awesome. I think the reason I gave Derrick White an A- is because I wanted to give Jrue Holiday an A because I thought he was just a little bit better, even though they were like almost like identical games. I just thought Jrue Holiday's efficiency, 10 assists. He really carried the load in playmaking in the first half too. I think he had 7 in the first half alone. He was awesome in this game. Defense was good. Rebounding was good. Shot making was good. Timely as well.
Yeah. Super timely.
Holiday would be my ECF
Him
MVP.
and Derrick
So
were both timely.
Credit
Holiday, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, even with Jaylen?
No. I said if Jaylen hadn't had 2 of the biggest moments, it'd been amazing.
Gotcha. Well, Jaylen is next. Jaylen, 40 points. Everybody knows it. Big story from the game. 14 of 27, 4 of 10 from 3, has 5 rebounds. Box score says 2 assists, really had 3. He didn't get credit for 1. 2 turnovers only. So not bad at all for him. He was under control in this game. He was aggressive in the right spots. He just kind of read everything. He was like, oh, Tatum doesn't necessarily have it going. Okay, I got this. He attacked mismatches against the Pacers, did it in an effective way. He wasn't settling for terrible shots. He was continuously forcing the issue. And this was a near perfect game for Jaylen, who kind of had a rough early minutes of the fourth quarter. But besides that, I can't remember anything where I was like shaking my head. Oh man, I think he's a little too confident. It just didn't happen. And sometimes when Jaylen does get going, you do unfortunately get those. He looks a little too confident. But no, that didn't happen in game 2. He was fantastic. He has played both sides of the ball really well in this series so far. And you saw just another game of him being fully engaged. The All-NBA snub definitely had him pissed off, regardless of what he said. Said he doesn't give a fuck. Said he's 2 wins away from the finals. They just don't have time to be thinking about that. It's true, but he used it in the best possible way, and he fueled a historic performance, his second time hitting the 40 mark in the conference finals. So something to be proud of for Jaylen. A+ game from him. It's exactly what you want from somebody like him in this spot when, you know, the rest of the team kind of needs a boost. Tatum wasn't great in that first half. He really, really helped the Celtics keep it going, and he was making big shots when Indy was still on fire too. So big hat tip to Jaylen.
Yeah, I mean, you covered it. A+ game from Jaylen Brown. This is going to be nothing else for him. He's the best player in this game, best player on the floor, dominant, got to the rim whenever he wanted, got to his spots whenever he wanted. I don't think he was too aggressive, but I thought he was aggressive enough to the point where he like just killed the Pacers. I thought he could have did a good job of like hitting tough shots and creating for himself while also like playing off of everybody else and just thriving off of Derrick White and Jrue Holiday and Tatum's creation and the space that they made for him. Like you mentioned, the 3 assists. I thought I think all of them were in the second half, like after he was already dominating, and so the Pacers threw extra pressure at him, and he did a good job of adjusting and finding his teammates. So everything you want from a Jaylen Brown game, A+. Like I mentioned, it was never going to be anything else. Like this is the peak. This is it.
He's just shown a more alert version of himself. He's driving now, and it's not going up on 3 guys if he doesn't have to. He's making the kick out pass. It's something you've begged for forever. And, it's really something we've seen for years from Tatum. Tatum, who has been the guy on this team, he's always had the responsibility. He took the step in the playmaking area a couple years back, and it's been really effective. He does a tremendous job of finding the open guy in the perimeter. Yesterday, he finishes with 23 points on 9 of 20 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. Grabs 5 rebounds on defense, 1 on offense, 6 total rebounds. Couldn't get the words out. 5 assists with 4 turnovers. This was a weird Tatum game. Tatum did not play well in the first half. He was 2 of 8, 4 points. Turns it up in the second half, which is a big spot. Like, it's a bigger spot than people gave him credit for. I know we talked about it. You didn't like the way he was engaged in the first half when he wasn't playing well, and that's absolutely fair. But I thought Tatum did a pretty good job throughout this game, reading the room. He realized Jaylen had it going. He didn't force anything. There weren't many possessions where I was left shaking my head, and I'm very critical of Tatum's shot selection because of how talented he is. He just doesn't have to settle for some of these sidestep threes, tough shots that he typically will settle for. Took 7 threes in this game. They were all catch and shoot, walk-in threes, the type that I personally don't mind him taking. It's just unfortunate he didn't make them. And of course, he got going in the third quarter, made some big shots, started off with a dunk, then just went and made 3 fadeaways in a row. They needed it. Siakam was unbelievable to start the second half. He had a great close to the second quarter, and then he came out in the third, guns blazing. The Celtics needed somebody to step up, and they got buckets from Tatum, who did not settle. He got to good spots. He got shots up that he knows he can make, and he buried them. And Derrick White deserves credit in this stretch, too. I mentioned it when we went over him. But I think this is a B- Tatum game. A lot of people would probably put him subpar, below average. But I just thought the discipline was so important to this win. And I am never a defend Tatum guy. I always think he needs to be better. I just think he's supremely talented and he's held to a different standard. And I thought, sure, he really wasn't as effective on the glass in this game as he typically is either, because he's been averaging double digits in the playoffs. He's had these crazy 12, 13 rebound games, and he only had 6 in this one. But still, he didn't take away from the team despite being bad. He was in net neutral, 0 ± for the game, -9 in the first half. But again, when it kind of got tight in the second half, stepped up.
What a change of the script here. We're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. Usually I'm pro Tatum, you're anti Tatum, and I think we're all flip flopped. I think C- is where I land. I think I'm a full grade below you, which might be the biggest gap we've had in the 2 games of grades we've done. But Tatum, like, I think second half I'd probably give him like a B-ish, but first half I'd probably give him like a D-. He was just so bad in that first half, and I know he locked in and hit some big shots for the Celtics in the second half, but like, it went past the shot selection. Like, how you got smaller guards on him. He took a lot of those, and I thought those were terrible. I don't think his playmaking was as effective. I think it was still solid at points, but I don't think it was as good as it has been. I think the rebound is another thing. He's missing a bunch of bunnies again as well. The biggest thing for me is he's just bad on defense. Like this went beyond, he's taking bad shots. He's not, making his threes, not making his layups, like struggling and slumping. Siakam just walked by him over and over and over again. Like, everybody on this Pacers team was just like, okay, Tatum's on me, I'm just gonna get a free run to the rim, and Tatum just wasn't there. I don't know if he was disengaged. I don't know if he was lazy. I don't know if he just had an off night, but like, he just looked off. And the fact that Tatum can have a C- game and still put up 26, 6, and 5, that tells you how good he is as a player. And this isn't saying like Tatum's bad or anything. I just think he had a really rough night. I think this is probably his worst game in the playoffs so far. That's fine. Celtics still won by like 16 points. Like, that's the benefit of building an elite team around him. He can have rough nights, quote unquote rough nights, and still have a great team backing him up. But it's really tough. This wasn't my favorite Tatum game. I don't think he's very good. And if this isn't very good from Tatum, I'm very grateful that he is the top player on the Celtics, because that's a very good thing.
Yeah, I mean, he did a good job of recovering in this game. And I don't know, it just meant a lot.
Absolutely.
In terms
Definitely.
of
Yes. No,
earning
you're
my
right.
respect in this one. And C- is also like a fair grade. Anybody that's criticizing him today, it's fair. Wasn't perfect. I put a lot of weight into that stretch in the third. I was like, wow, he didn't
Fair.
unravel.
Rightly so. Rightly so. He was great in the third. It was huge for them. Helped them win the game. And he deserves credit for that. Like, if I'm going quarter by quarter to really break it down, I'd probably go like D, or like a D plus first quarter, F
Give
second
him the
quarter,
E.
A minus third quarter, and then useless whatever fourth, like a
Yeah, who
B,
cares about
B minus, because it was like, who cares? And I think that all evens are out around C minus. Excuse me, I just muted myself because that's just not very good, but it's fine. He'll bounce back. I have no doubt. He's been more impactful than the narrative surrounding him tells in the playoffs so far. I just don't think this was the game. I think this is, like I said, I think this is my least favorite Tatum game in the playoffs, and if this is my least favorite, perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, they won. So
They did, in fact, win. All right, well, I think that's it. I'll let you wrap it up so I can get out of here. The Wi-Fi just hung out long enough. Thank you for leading the way here. Appreciate you.
no problem. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. We're coming at you with content at 5 a.m. every single day here. The playoffs, you got to get all of it. You got to get all of it. We got these great videos coming out. We have game recaps the morning after. If you missed the Game 2 one, it came out Friday morning. It's on the channel. Go watch it. You can find full pods going up Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so there should be something for you tomorrow. Not sure if it's going to be a full pod or just a recap, but it'll still be a respectable length. It's going to have plenty of good stuff in there for you. And you can find us doing streams. Talking C's is typically Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning. Sometimes there are gaps and stuff because of practices, commutes. It's going to happen. This is a hectic time for the gang. You can also find us doing the roundtable, typically Tuesdays around 6 p.m. We have me, Jack, Noah, Bobby, Justin, Cam, Kari. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I think I hit everybody. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. We're doing all of our stuff, and we're uploading the audio versions of the pods and game recaps there for you. So if you follow us, it'll go right into your feed. You can leave a 5-star review. We would appreciate that very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We're doing email readings every single pod, so we love to hear from you guys. Reach out. You can find our socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's just the name of the pod. You can find our streams there. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JacksMunNBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.